Bit of a slow start this premium module. Other decisions early on. A lot of talking. Haunted Mansion. The Silver Lily. Silver Tongue Manor. South Keep. Okay, we're in the North Keep then. Sir Beckett's Mansion. Temple of the Nine Gods. Prison Tower. Keep Proper. Mage Tower. We need clothing first and foremost, and since we have two mages, we probably should visit the Mage Tower. I don't have much money, but I have enough crap that I can probably...
Bet you could get loads of firewood out of that tree.
Probably, yes. Look deep into the mirror. It almost seems as if you see an entirely different room on the other side. You think you could step through. Step away. It's not polite to do that without the owner's permission. This beautiful young woman is surrounded by an aura of power and mystique. You recognize her as the spellcaster on the ramparts who brought your dispute with the masked man to its premature conclusion. The arches and eyebrow as you approach.
So, the hero I thought I had killed has finally come to Yenna for a visit. You have a rather ordinary countenance, but something about you draws the eye.
Yeah, it's lack of clothes, isn't it?
I find you rather fascinating. What is your purpose here? I imagine you come about the election, or maybe for some magic items? Better yet, maybe you have come just for the conversation.
I want to speak with you about the battle. A defiant glint passes across her eyes and is gone, quickly replaced with a dull blankness that tells you nothing. She waits for you to continue. Who is the masked man? He is in the prophecies, as are you. More than that I cannot say. What exactly was your role in the battle? I cast my spells from the ramparts, starting with those that would affect large numbers of the enemy. Flames, blades, ice, lightning, all of these things were my weapons against the masked man's forces. When I saw both of you and he converging on the gates, I knew nothing good could come of such a conflict. I had a fire gem in my possession and worked to cast it before the two of you could come to blows. Well, you could have killed me out there. She did. But let's see if that goes somewhere. The glint in her eyes comes back, vicious now. Trust me, I tried. And the masked man too. I did what I could, but now my hands are tied. Hate me for it if you wish, but you may still need me in the end. Let's talk about the erection. I will tell you right up front, I don't care for Envid or Sir Beckett as far as making them my ruler. Envid makes a good hand, but she doesn't have enough experience outside the keep. Let me get to know you a bit better, and chances are I will vote for you. I think you are trustworthy. Are you willing to share some of your background? Sure, I don't know my background though. Is Yenna even a member of a guild, leader of a guild, whatever? Apparently she is, but what guild? I took some time to do some research about you. It seems to me that you enjoy traveling with what could generously be called a group of misfits. You think we're the misfits? You've never seen the lad in action then. You will not talk about misfits. Fiery Calibast, I sense a tragic tale in your soul. But what else could drive a noble Azur from his home? One could say that since we are all misfits, we fit perfectly. I An elegant answer from a noble being, Jaboli. I would also agree with you fully. There is a common link that binds you, a thread of great suffering you have each faced. But you are the mystery, Kal. In a group of misfit, it would seem you are the misfit. You think it's strange that I'm normal? I don't think you are normal, far from it. I delved into the mystery of who you are, and I have divined something very interesting. Do you like to know what I found? Oh yes, please tell me. Before I tell you, I would like to ask you a question. What is your earliest childhood memory? Uh, I have... These are tough questions to answer because naturally as a player I have no clue at all. I don't remember. I don't remember my life as a child. Yes, sometimes the mind blocks out these horrible tragedies. It must have been very traumatic watching your parents die right before your eyes. I do not know why she is telling you this, but it is the truth. Kal, at least she believes it is the truth. My source believed you would remember such a tragic moment, and though I am bound not to reveal who it is, I have good reason to believe she knows what she is talking about. She? Hina winks. Why did I let that little detail slip? How very careless of me. I am magically bound in such a way that I cannot reveal who she is or what. Why? Apparently, I cannot even say that. It doesn't matter. If you pay attention, you will figure it out. Someone as remarkable as her leaves little traces of their activities as they move around. That is how I discovered. I guess that's as much I can say about that. I would recommend you speak to Garrett at the Silver Lily. Tell him I sent you. I'm sure he will be more helpful than I can be. Thank you. My pleasure. There's one thing I can tell you though, because it is based on something my own magic revealed. This conversation was about misfits. Well, you are also a misfit. You have blood of some other race. I cannot be specific, but I know that you have some kind of outsider blood in your ancestry. You appear to be of human blood, but appearances are often deceiving. Now, that is all I can tell you about this subject. What else should we discuss? So, usually outsiders are devils, angels, and elementals of some sort. There's so many of them though, so the end result could be pretty much anything. Questions? Tell me about your guild. I'm the only member of the guild and my time is spent helping the people with minor problems, doing research to benefit the keep and occasionally trying to get some rest. Despite being the smallest guild in a keep, the scarcity of mages in our world gives me a great deal of prestige and power. Do you have other questions? Why are there so few mages? Magic was once very common, thousands of years ago, but for some unknown reason fewer people in each generation have been born with the ability to wield arcane powers. Many of those who are born with the ability are not even powerful enough to be anything more than apprentices. It is a problem I have pondered many times, but I can find no good answer. So the fact that we have two mages in this group is pretty rare. Questions about the keep. I spent most of my time here in my tower, so I'm not the best person to ask such information. Someone like Dinshal, the priest, spends more time with the people. You should ask him. trap components at least. Fairly basic set of gear, but not bad by any means. 1 and 2 low-level character crap, basically. So, a low magic world, I guess. Can't afford a robe, even this cheapest robe is 1500. Everything's expensive. 2000 for a +1 weapon. That's ridiculous. Spells seem to go for fairly high level spells though. Greater Spell Mantles, Horrid Wilting, Wail of the Banshee, so pretty much to the 9th level. Trying to locate first level spells to get an idea of what type of spells do they sell here. Looks like basics, the very basics, so nothing too convoluted, nothing too, not expansion pack spells, for example.
Every time I see you, I find myself wondering if I am fascinated more by the aura of danger that surrounds you, or by your flashing eyes, like a beautiful snake coiled to strike. What can I do to help you today? Is there something you wish to discuss?
I want to get an idea of how much something that I have costs. 99 love bolts of lightning is 1053 gold pieces with her. I don't want to do business with her because I'm gonna be piss poor if
I hope you found that informative. I did not even know about this Garrett, but I will bet he has some interesting information to give you.
You hadn't even noticed your weapon's voice slip into your mind.
I wish you would have confided more in me. Ah well, we will talk again after you have spoken to him.
I suppose we might as well talk with everyone since we're here. Not gonna see any action for a long time then. Hopefully we'll get some experience out of this at least.
You asked the
flame and
impossible.
do that?
Think again.
Maybe I should talk to our companions too.
And how can Calabast be of assistance now?
Why do you drink so much? You don't start with the easy topics, do you? I guess you never did. Let me think. Heavy drinking and carousing started shortly after I came from my home plane to this one. I'd suffered great tragedy and I wasn't ready for such a different life. I started life here as a mercenary. I had seen awful things in my life, but in the first year here in the south I had never seen such utter barbarism. What happened? I arrived in a small village in the south, beyond the withered forest. The village was ruled by a dark priestess of Churl. I didn't know anything about the goddess of chaos back then. The priestess of Churl hired me for my strength and she seemed to pay well enough. I thought I would just work for her long enough to get an understanding of the way this world works. Yeah, I don't know anything about Churl. She's the goddess of storms, destruction and chaos. The priestess who followed her took her role very seriously, trying to destroy all that surrounded her. She was very strong and had come to the village and destroyed the chief with lightning from the sky. Then cast a spell that gave her control over the villagers' minds. She had led the villagers to victory over the surrounding villages, and now they all had wealth and slaves. Greed and religious fanaticism can do strange things to a mind. And this is when you arrived. They had just celebrated another victory when the sky ripped open and I fell out. They took it as another sign from their goddess. When they tried to grab me and drag me to the priestess, I threw them off. The priestess was impressed and after speaking to me, offered me a position as her general. I accepted the role for the reasons I already stated. The prize was too great, but I would rather not speak about it right now. There's much to do. Let's be off.
I'm sorry, did you wish to speak to me, my friend?
Ghostly visage, light, mage armor, summon creature 1. So, basically, a couple of defensive spells and a single summon spell. That's what she has.
I'm sorry, did you wish to...
Of course, my friend. What can Jaboli bring her wisdom to bear on? Horror things. I must have slept wrong last time we rested. I can't get my hair to lay down at all. Okay, tell me about your home. You would not have enjoyed living there, I can tell you. Only the most beautiful of slaves had any pleasure in their lives. I fear you would have been sent to the mines, like the majority of slaves. I do not say these things to offend you, but so much of life as a Rakshasa is wrapped up in our slave culture. How did you feel about that? I had no problem with slavery until I lived here among societies made up of entirely free peoples. At the time I did not realize how detrimental to our society it was. I lived in a beautiful mansion surrounded by the fairest slaves of many races. My every whim was fulfilled almost instantly. The problem with having everything is that life quickly grows boring. I decided to make life more interesting, I would go out to explore other realms. Is that how you came to be here? No, that was much later in life. I joined one of the exploratory expeditions, as they are called, though it turned out to be little more than a conquering force. We found a new people, a fascinating realm full of scholars, artists, and philosophers. They were not as fierce warlike people, which made them easy to conquer. There was one holdout, one small group of scholars who were resisting from the inside their largest library. It was the size of a small city and contained a copy of every writing ever found. What happened? Finally, the leader of our expedition made a deal with the warring scholars. He agreed to preserve every single page of writing if the scholars would give up peacefully. Scholars agreed and were horrified when our men took each book and scroll and ripped them apart, shuffling all the pages together in one giant undecipherable mess. Watching the tears of the scholars not from the chains on their necks, but from the destruction of their knowledge, I became sickened by the honor of my people. That is enough for now. Let's continue. I'm guessing we'll have to talk with these regularly to get to know them fully and get their character development arc. Mike's Lamplighter.
So this is the place where justice could rule. I could get used to this.
There's guild offices here. The trades, military guild, mages guild, nobles guild, priests guild, foresters guild, thieves guild, merchants guild, landowners guild. The old man shuffles up to you with a gleam in his eye. And do you think you belong in the castle on this day? You have business with the guilds. I'm Carl and I am in the election for the new lord of the keep. He grunts and nods his head.
I guess I've heard of you. If you have any questions about the keep, figure it out yourself. I guess if you're too thick to figure something out, I'm the Castellan, so I'll answer.
What does a Castellan do?
Make sure everything in the keep runs smoothly, from the servants up to the guild masters. All fall within my responsibility. When there is a guild vote, I tally the votes. That when a servant retires, I hire a new one.
Right. Questions?
That's really too bad, because I promise you, my answers won't be helpful.
Yeah, you are a gigantic piece of shit. There's difference between not being helpful and intentionally being an asshole about it.
What do you call that then? It's a bloody breed of folly, I'd say.
What is upstairs in the guild hall?
Rooms, I suspect, unless someone went and knocked out all the walls. Maybe you should go and check. Take a mop and a bucket with you and clean the floors while you're at it.
Ah, lovely. You'll be the first to die when my new order is established.
Not after that bit of foolishness.
Rest of the keep?
I know I look like a muscle-bound adventurous type, but looks can be deceiving. I actually spend most of my days and nights locked up here in the castle pretending to work. So you'll just have to excuse me if I can't tell you who has the best prices on ladies' undergarments, or where the tastiest ale is served. I haven't had a pint of ale in 22 years.
Go on now. Thinking like you belong here at all. Not after that bit of foolishness.
What do you think of the election? About the election?
What do I care? Everyone thinks this damn election is so important. But I tell you, life goes on. You think you are all fired important one minute? Then whack, Mistress Death knocks your skull in. And what have you got to show for all your years of effort and toil? A bad back, poor eyesight, and goiter the size of a mace head. So you can keep your election and stuff it up your shirt.
Yeah, that's all my questions.
It's about time. I have a keep to run, so if you don't mind.
Well, he invited us to go take a look. We're gonna go take a look. The Stan, local warrior. The Stan is a half-orc former adventurer who runs the trades, an employment business that pays adventurers to do what they do best. He's also the guild master for trades. Why do you have immunity to mind spells? Because I'm focusing on mind spells, so that's a little bit of a problem. The large half-orc stands laughing with a couple of friends. As you approach, he turns and smiles tearfully.
Looks like another young scallywag has come to test their mettle on a challenging quest from the Stan.
The Stan?
The Stan. You haven't heard of the Stan? Well, the Stan is insulted. What a grievous wound indeed. But the Stan is strong and resilient. The Stan can take the insult of low-minded individuals and ignore them, as the sting of a wasp. Are you looking for adventure, or are you here about the election?
Let's go with the adventures. No, election first.
The Stan is the foremost authority of the Trades Guild. The Stan has keen understanding of the three contenders. What would you ask of him?
Tell me, what do you think of Enibid?
Having a strong leader who knows how to enforce the law is important for the trades. If people fear for their lives or their wealth, then unemployment suffers. Enibid is the epitome of the law. The Stan knows there are problems she will encounter, but she could learn to adapt.
What about Sir Beckett?
You've got no more sense.
The Stan tries not to spend a great deal of time thinking of such a base person. There are times when he preys on the mind. Sir Beckett hired some of the Stan's tradesmen to refurbish his mansion. Sir Beckett took over a year to pay his debts off. This filled the Stan with great anger. The next time Sir Beckett has to have something fixed, the Stan will not be supplying him with labor.
How can I get you, your guild, to vote for me?
If the Stan is pleased with the work you do for him, the Stan would know you were serious about the trade of an adventurer. Only one job must be completed, although the Stan would be pleased if all were accomplished.
Okay, let's talk about those adventures.
The Stan has 3 jobs at present: dwarves, cows, and an archaeologist. Assisting the archaeologist is my most important job, though all need to be done.
Tell me about the dwarves.
Imagine an adventure in the deepest, darkest mines, where foul, evil Duergar have wrested control from their fairer kin, where brutal, cunning traps and vicious, challenging fights await you. This is one of the grand adventures the Stan has to offer you. A twisted and powerful mage leads the Duergar, and the dwarves would have you kill him, that they might drive their evil cousins from their home. The pay is 500 gold, but there is a magic weapon in it for you if you also kill the other Duergar leaders. The mage is the main target, but you are welcome to do it all. What do you say?
Tell me about the cows.
Those foul yet clever lizardkin, the kobolds, are supplying the masked men's army with food gathered from the poor peasants and landowner owners in the area. The farmers have come to ask that someone go and free their cows from the clutches of the cunning kobolds, and they offer 500 gold in return.
I'd rather take on kobolds than Duergar. Duergar are naturally much better. They have innate abilities, invisibilities, things like that, so dealing with them is going to be troublesome if I don't have more casting power. Kobold is affected by sleep and other weak spells just fine. Same with goblins, so they should be our primary target at this point. Use them to grow and gain some extra abilities.
The monsters have also stolen stores of grain, so you might be able to get the cows to follow you by using it. Alias can show you where the cave is.
What about the archaeologist, and why he is so important?
There are some who say that this keep was built on the ruins of another keep, and that the old dark magic of an ancient empire yet lives on in these old stones. The most noted scholar in the north, Ohio Smith, has found an old ruin not far from here, but the place is infested with undead. Oh, fuck me. If the stories are true, then the very fate of this keep might be contained within that ruin. Help the archaeologist, and 1,000 gold is yours. It is a princely sum, but a most dangerous and important task. Alias can lead you to him.
I'll choose the cows.
Good. Which of the Stan's fine adventures would you care to enjoy?
I'll say the cows.
The farmers will be pleased when they see their herds again. If you get the cattle out of the caves, they should wander home. Speak to Alias when you are ready to go. The Stan wishes you safe journeys.
Sarah Blackhand.
Greetings to you.
This woman has an open, friendly face, creased with the lines of one who has lived through some hard times.
Welcome to the office of the Landowners Guild. My name is Sarah Blackhand. How may I help you today?
You've got no more sense than the day you were born.
My name is Cal, and I'm a friend of Alias's.
What you call that then? It's a bloody
Oh yes, I should have recognized you from all the descriptions I've heard. You have certainly impressed many people, including my niece. Sweet Alice needs as many friends as she can get. She spends too much time wandering on her own. So, what can I do for you today? I was told you have a goblin infestation. Yes, after the siege on the keep was broken, the remaining forces turned tail and ran, losing all their spine with the masked man's death. We tracked a band of his goblins to a cave on my property, and just this morning, a number of my cattle have started to go missing. So why haven't the local guard? Okay, because there are no guards to send. Goblins may be weak, but they can still kill you. And with my equipment, we're basically, even if someone closes his eyes and throws something in my general direction, it'll hit and kill me very likely. So we have armor class of 9, which is nothing. We have 15 hit points, so 2-3 good attacks and I'm dead, and it's almost impossible to miss me. Okay, so why haven't the local guards done anything about it? 3 of my personal guards figured that they were tough enough to go into the caves and take care of the goblins. They never returned, but we heard a loud rumble shortly before noon. Goblins must have set a trap to kill or capture any pursuers. I went to the military guild and Farron said he would assist me, but he was overruled. Overruled by whom? By the hand, anyway. The woman means well, but she's too cautious by far. The militia spread thin to be sure, but there must be someone among the guard who can be spared from the walls to protect the outlying lands. Therefore, his death in the recent battle, the banner had noted the increase in monster sightings in the area, increased funding to the militia to train more guards. Those who lived outside the walls were invited to bring livestock into the keep and live here until the troops were ready. Unfortunately, the assault on the keep came sooner than we hoped and many of the recruits were killed. If you were to do something about the masked man's forces, I could make sure you have our vote, as well as the time to sway a few more supporters. Do I have to kill all of the monsters? Well, eventually someone is going to have to, but not yet. If you were to clear the goblins out of their cave, the other landowners would know you were serious and capable of helping them. Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Cal. If you are capable of doing this, then you have the ability to become a strong ruler. Actions speak louder than words, I always say. If you don't want to have to search for the proper cave, I would suggest you speak to Alice. I'm sure she would be pleased to lead you right there. Otherwise, my property lies to the east. The goblin caves are not far from my house. Was there anything else you needed? Ooh, I want to buy some land. Well, we don't have any farmland available at the moment. Too many violent monsters running the crops and eating the livestock. Most of the landowners have sought safety here in the keep. If you can clear the goblins from my land, that would prove you know how to handle yourself in a fight. The only house presently on the market, well, let's just say it's peculiar and leave it at that. There seems to be quite a bit of options we can go with. Elections. Right down to business. Your interest in this is keen, I imagine. Our guild usually meets and votes, then I take their decision to the guild vote. I do have enough influence to sway the guild vote, however. If you can rid me of the goblins, I will do all I can to help you. Tell me about Alice. She's a sweet child with a pleasant disposition that really rises above the tragedies she has had to face. Her mother died while she was just a babe. She was only about 11 where her father went off to war, and like all the other soldiers, he was never heard from again. I have tried my best to raise her right, but she is a loner. It's good that she has you to work with, because she usually works alone. I would suggest you talk to her if you want to know more. Anything about the keep? Most of my interest lay outside the town, but I will do my best to help you. Okay. What do you know about the masked man's forces? They're on my property, I want them off. That's what I know. If you want more details on them, I would suggest you speak to Farron in the military guild. So more or less, we're just gonna collect quests.
I would like to speak to you, my friend.
Okay, if you have something to say. I would like to speak to you about this home that Sarah mentioned. What about it? I think we should seriously consider purchasing it. I know it probably seems like a lot of gold, but we don't know how much it is. But it has been abandoned for a long time and adventurers died in it. I'm thinking that it could contain some fine treasures in it, maybe even some gear to make up for the loss of ours. You aren't normally the gold digger of the group. I know, but that is only one of the reasons why I think it is a good idea. It shows that you are seriously committed to the people of the keep. You would only purchase an expensive piece of property if you plan on staying. It would also prove you have the courage to face an enemy head-on. Since no one here was willing to drive out the haunting spirits, it would encourage your followers and intimidate your opponents. Okay, now we know that there were hunting spirits there. Guess those are good reasons. If we're gonna go for the lordship, we might as well go full in, not just fish for it while we do other adventures on the side. It is important that everyone knows you are serious in your commitment to the keep. Besides, you never know what will happen. What does that mean? It's just a hunch I have. I cannot explain it any better than that. But I feel like it is important that we should own this house. I think we should trust your hunch. Good. Now let us get going. We have much to do and I feel time pressing on us. Right, I might be an evil fuck, but I also am one that stick with my group, unless they give me a reason. Treachery is not allowed or tolerated in any way.
I welcome you back in the name of Jace, the Father God.
Tell me about your god, Jace. Jaess. Jace is the father of the gods, and he is the servant lord. A good leader strives to help her people, not lord over them and treat them as base creatures, like Sir Beckett does. I come from humble beginnings, but Jace has seen fit to raise my station. I desire to become the lady of the keep only that I might serve my god better. So what's your story? My life is not a topic for others' amusement. I would rather not discuss it with you. I hope you have something more important you wish to ask. He doesn't want to really discuss anything.
Calabast, would you mind if I ask you a question?
Of course not, Chaboli. Always have time for a pretty lass. What is on your mind?
You spend so much time and effort on carousing with women and drinking, yet you do not seem to ever be pleased with yourself after the fact.
That's not a question, lass. It's more of an accusation. Besides, are you jealous?
Hardly jealous, and don't try to change the subject. Cal, do you not think the behavior of our companions are... Well, I couldn't care less as long as it doesn't interfere with our job. It doesn't really bother me one way or another, but it bothers him. That was my point. Why act in a way that disgusts you so much?
I can't. I don't.
He throws his hands up in disgust.
A woman.
You can avoid the question for now, but someday you will have to face whatever has you so troubled that you fear commitment more than death. Merchant's Guild office is empty. Thieves Guild. Empty. Seem to be mostly empty. Foresters Guild empty. Priest Guild empty. Nobles Guild. Mages Guild has the ooh. It's probably a mirror to the shop. So quick travel for the mage. Makes sense, I guess. Military Guild has a person here, Eklund. Farron Fairhand.
Greetings. My name is Farron. I have heard good things about you from Dylan.
The powerfully built elf extends his hand to take yours, the stern look etched into his face.
It is unfortunate that you have chosen to run against Ennevid, but with the masked man's attacks, she is the leader the keep needs. So, how can the military guild be of assistance?
Can the military offer me any aid to attack the invaders?
Damn, I would love to go out against the masked man's remaining forces, but it is the position of the guild that we need to stay here to defend. Truth is, we are stretched just to do that. Our military has never fully recovered from the loss of our army 5 years ago.
Yeah, what the hell happened with that?
The Lord of the Keep took his army off to war and never came back. No one knows what happened, though gods know we tried to find them. I have never heard of anything like it. Even Yenna, our mage, has never been able to trace where they went. None of my friends were with that army. I was left behind with a few others to guard the castle, should any minor problems arise. I still can see them marching off to war, though it be in my dreams now, nothing more.
Why didn't someone build the army back up?
We tried, but resources were scarce. With little gold and so few trainable men and women left behind, we sent for help from the south, but only a few ever responded. Many of the ones who did came were of poor character, but we accepted them all. Now, with this new battle upon us, I fear that it will not be enough. If you can take this battle to the masked man's forces rather than waiting for them to return to us, you will certainly have my eternal respect and gratitude.
So, no help then.
If you do somehow become the Lord of the Keep, then you can choose to use some of the army however you want. Short of that, I fear there is no help, for we have nothing left to give. Questions? I'll try to answer any questions you have, but I'm very busy, so I apologize for any abruptness in my answers. You? I like to keep my personal life out of the office. I would be happy to speak to you at the Mossy Inn over a glass of honey mead, though. I don't drink much, but there is nothing like smooth mead after a long, hard day. Is there anything else? What about the keep? I do not think I would have much to offer you that you could not get from someone with less pressing matters to attend to, but ask anyway.
Equipment deployment room. What do you know about the masked man's forces?
Masked man had a sharper mind at work than any of us had realized yet. The forces are a motley crew, and it takes quite the leader to hold them together. I hope he's as dead as they claim. If it were not for your timely intervention, the last attack might have succeeded. With or without their leader, I'm sure they'll be back. I'm not sure if we can turn them back a second time.
Go on now. Think you like you
Election.
belong here at all. Not after that bit of
Short and simple, Enivid is the only candidate. You seem good enough, but Enivid has worked for years defending these people. No one else commands such respect.
Okay, tell me about Enivid.
She holds an unswavering, undying loyalty to duty. She will be a good leader. There isn't really much else I can tell you about her.
What about Sir Beckett?
I have as much respect for that coward as I do for the foul-smelling sustenance I stepped in at the stables yesterday. There are those who are good leaders and those who aren't. Sir Beckett is far below that. He couldn't lead a whore to bed if she didn't show him the way, which plenty have, or so I have heard. Man is without honor and the complete opposite of anything.
Okay, would you consider changing your vote?
Not for all the gold in the world. I cannot think of a single thing that could convince me. Even if someone held a sword to my throat, I would vote for Enivid as a lot of my
Fair enough.
This is a hot, thirsty subject. I shall have to make my way to the Mossy Inn tonight to quench the fire in my stomach. Is there anything else you wanted?
He seems to be hinting fairly heavily about the meet him at the inn later. We might be able to get something out of him. It also means it might be a good idea to not waste my time on him, because if he's not going to a lover, not a fighter, he's hitting on me. Am I just thick? Possibly. But I don't think that would influence the vote. This would be more of a information gathering expedition. But as good as he is, he might be a wasted effort or to try to influence him. Certainly at this stage it's not going to be possible. We'd have to prove ourselves first. We have to keep our overall goal in mind. I mean, I don't intend to go on wild murder sprees, even though I'm evil. I'm selfish, but I do want to maintain order. Work within the rules. But we have to win. We're not doing this to get to the second place. We have to win no matter what.
I'm glad you came. Something has filled the prisoners we took with renewed purpose, and they've broken free of their cells.
Helen offers you a wary grin.
We've managed to hold this area, but we need more men if we're going to contain them and quell the threat.
I don't have really weapons, but we might be able to get equipment out of them.
Sir Dylan, they tried attacking us again, but we held them off. There's no way we can stand another push. Calm yourself. This is no time to panic. You didn't see the huge hobgoblin that drives the prisoners before him. This, sir, is the perfect time to panic. Look, I need some volunteers to drive them back, the masked man's forces. If we attack them now before they have time to regroup, we might stand a chance. I didn't sign up for this suicide mission. You should let us get out of here. If we can get to our homes, perhaps we can flee with our families. Sir Dylan, I would, the pain, I would help you, but the wound I received. I wish the hand would have taken some of the militia at the gate and given me some professional soldiers. Get back to your post. Cal, I hate to ask this of you, but do you think you can try to push the invaders back?
Don't really have equipment, but we can try. What are you going to do?
I need to remain here and keep these men from deserting. The prisoners try to force their way back up here. Someone needs to keep them from succeeding.
Okay, where's this hobgoblin?
We're not sure where the leader is hiding out. I never even saw him. He must be down in the dungeon somewhere.
I'll take care of it.
There are some weapons and armor over there on the racks. You might want to have a look and take what you need. Good luck, sir. You're the only hope we have. Though, even that is a slim hope. At the least, perhaps you can buy some time.
Free equipment. I would like a heavy armor, please. Thank you.
My pack is too heavy. It is awkward.
Awkward, is it? Warhammer is another weapon that Calibas is good at using. Also, it's a blunt weapon, so it has some advantages over a sword. We get the ammunition. I needed crossbow bolts. So wondering, what exactly can you people even use? Four, 5-2.
My pack is too heavy. It is awkward.
Okay, here's what I think we have to do, basically. Since we have two mages and probably want to use a lot of area of effects, we're going to have to buff this son of a bitch with as much elemental resistance as possible. Because he's a fire, he can probably take some damage, and if we have decent resistances, we can probably bombard with spells too. The thing is, spellcasting usually doesn't work all that well because you either can't rest enough or single casting will start to not be enough to kill. But if two spellcasters bombard, that's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage for anyone to take. It's not an easy thing to survive that. So maybe we can make a difference. Ooh. Pasha's hideous laughter is for the hobgoblin. This thing not allowed in this area. Well, what we do? It's a large area. I think it might be even the prison map that was in Neverwinter Nights. Very close to it. Some useful potions.
You asked the impossible. Think again.
They would have bashed it if it was easily openable. So I don't think a pixie is gonna make much of a difference there either. I am also over encumbered, so this could be pretty rough for us, since we sort of accidentally got into this fighting situation. Kobolds. Orc Champion. Orc Champion is very, very tough. Kobold not so much. Again, our armor class is pretty much nothing, which is no good.
Gorak.
Dagger +1. Didn't have to wait too long for that one. Sell key, thieves tools. Might be able to open that door with this one. No? Probably get access to prisoners.
Ah, now this is fun. Heaps of wee bonny creatures to maim and mangle.
Orc champions and kobolds. So copy-pasted enemies. This isn't particularly encouraging.
Please let me out of here. I don't want to be murdered by these monsters.
Why would I let you out? You're a prisoner. Will you help me bite them?
With what? My bare hands? If I had a short sword, I would help.
How can I get you out?
The guard had the key, but I think he was killed by the enemy captives.
Yeah, I can't let you out.
You would just leave me here? That's horrible, they'll kill me.
But they haven't killed you yet, and I'm going to clearly kill them, so you're perfectly safe. I'm not going to let a moderate prisoner out of here. I could create more problems for myself easily. Probably take care of one of the groups. Again, we have to keep in mind that... oh shit. I don't have an armor class really. I do have a spell I can throw. But I'm not sure that's gonna really cut it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Literally, my armor class is so poor that anything pretty much hits me. This is not a caster-friendly adventure. They take the only clothing piece you have, and the cheapest alternative costs thousands. Feel free to do something, you pieces of shit. There's clearly fighting happening right next to them and they are not moving a muscle. And now the kobold is coming. If these are pathetic enemies compared to the hobgoblin, we're in trouble. Although we can always release some prisoners, enough that they will die in a fight against the hobgoblin. I'm hoping the key might open the door here.
You asked the impossible. Think again.
No resting allowed in this area, so... There's also no resting allowed here, so we have to go somewhere else to rest. Well, isn't this fun? I'm regretting playing a mage in this campaign already. No resting allowed, so thanks game. Might as well just add the extra sleep spells here. A single mage armor might be also useful. It won't make much of a difference though. I'd rather take sleeps. Because the enemy seems to be throwing fairly standard issue copy-pasted parties at us. And their party, 3-man parties where a single sleep spell to take them out. There's a jeep in here. It's the mossy tree. Mr. Mossy.
Pleased to see you.
Good morning to you, good master. I am Mr. Mossy, and I'm very pleased to meet you. How may I be of assistance? Room. Then you have come to the right place, and I don't mind saying that you have an excellent taste, good master. Now, some folk like to spend their hard-earned wages staying at the Silver Lily, and I'm not one to say anything bad about Mr. Garrett. Oh, now look at me rambling on now. Would you like to have... Gelani would have had my tongue in the old days. Now let me think. Why yes, a room. We do happen to have one. It costs 15 gold for a week. Yeah, I don't have that much. There be one thing Mr. Mossy never jests about with the customer, and that's the gold. With the monsters invading the lands, the inn is brimming almost full with refugees and the like. Literally can't afford 15 gold. So a simple matter of deal, just trying to rest so I could just charge my basic spells is becoming a chore. This is not a caster-friendly campaign. Caster hostile, rather. Pawn shop. I need 5 pieces of gold. I'm not interested in your bullshit.
There's been talk all over town about you in the election.
Give me the shop. I think this might be an even worse shop than the mage's once was, which is odd because I've also invested into the appraisal skill and everything is failing, everything is unfavorable. 20,000. Okay, I need 5 gold pieces. Doesn't matter what we sell.
Pleased to see.
Good enough.
I will have someone around to unlock the door. Just come see me when you're ready to leave so we can settle up the bill. But I already paid you.
This tavern has all the earmarks of quality. What do you say we spend a few days here and see if we can drink them dry?
Ah, this is trouble. We have to be very conservative with our spell choices if resting has to only happen here. And it's going to take forever to me to get a armor class up. A simple protection ring +1 is very expensive. Any armor increasing robes and the likes are very expensive. Which means I would basically have to take protection spells, but that means I'll have to go and rest more often. And I can't say just send Calibast into the front line, who might be able to tank things.
Calibast, you seemed to have a rough dream last time we rested. Would you care to talk about it?
Was I that restless?
You woke me out of a dead sleep. I could hardly focus on memorizing my spells the next day.
Sorry about that, lass. It was a strange dream. I'd killed a man and was fleeing from justice. I had a really good reason for killing him, but whenever I went to tell my side of the story, I froze up.
That is a disturbing dream. Does it mean anything to you? Maybe something from your past?
Some days your discernment is downright chilling, Jaboli. I am thinking it is something from my past. When I was young, my father and I got into an argument. I told him I wished he was dead and stormed off in rage. He died the next day when an angry slave, an earth elemental, got loose and caught my father off guard.
So you blamed yourself for the accident. You know it was not your fault, do you not? You do know it was not your fault, do you not? Probably not. Of course it wasn't your fault, Calibast.
I know that. I didn't say it was. I just thought it might be connected to my dream.
There was something else that helped you make that connection, perhaps.
Just before I awoke, I was attacked by a large earth elemental. The thing laughed at me and said, I killed your father for you, just like you wanted. Now it's time for you to pay up. I figure that says it all.
That is unusual. I would say that your guilt is not resolved yet. You need to deal with it soon, though. These inner torments could be the cause for your erratic behavior towards yourself.
Don't hurt your brain or anything. It was just a dream. I've plenty to feel guilty about. My father is a long distant hurt.
Well, if you need help dealing with it, I'm here for you. We are both here for you.
Alright, enough sentimentality. Let's get some work done. I feel the need to kill something soon. Oh, and thank you, both of you.
Can I get to doing things again? NPC banter is fairly well done. The fact that we rested probably triggered that conversation and so forth. So it doesn't happen only when you move the plot along or quests along. Yeah. God damn it, let me get through that. So, Outside of combat, I've been fairly pleased with the adventure so far. Combat is terrible. Well, let's say standard, which is terrible. Copy paste encounter, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. Ooh, you have a large area filled with adventure and fighting, which is basically the same fighting over and over and over again. So you know exactly how to deal with it. What you have to do, we can deal with 4 such fights now. We don't have to get everyone to fall asleep. But
I was just wondering, Jaboli, do you hate dogs?
I have neither a great fondness for them, nor an abnormal hate or fear of them. Why do you ask?
I should think that it would be obvious. I mean, I guess there are a few cats and dogs that get along, but on the whole they tend to feud for the most part.
What is it with you people that you seem to think that just because I have similar features to a cat that it means I really am a cat?
It could be that when you get mad, you kind of make a hissing noise, and when you are happy, you purr.
The bully stares daggers at Calibast.
Well, I was just going to say that I like cat. Not everybody does, you know. I knew a guy who would go out of his way to get within kicking distance of a cat. I'm not that way.
Obviously you are cut of a finer cloth than your friend. Not fine enough to recognize the difference between a cat and a Rakshasa, sadly.
You don't have to take offense. I was just waiting you to know that I thought you are a fine-looking female. For a cat.
I always thought you were such a smooth talker, Calibast. But such a clumsy attempt to flirt with me tells me you must be losing your touch.
I think it's my duty to select the third option. What's wrong, Calibast? Cat got your tongue? You've been dying for a chance to say that, haven't you?
Well, not really, but the opportunity was there, so I had to take it. Chapoli just hisses at the two of you and turns away. Teasing her is from time to time isn't probably too harmful. Just as we just leave it at the teasing though. Bar of iron. For crafting purposes, I have no interest in crafting. It usually produces piss poor results and you can always buy better. You have to be really desperate on the game has to make it clear to you that your options outside of crafting are very limited to make the crafting at all desirable. But the fact that I already got a +1 dagger makes me think that that is not the case. I'm not letting you out. I just want to see if the dialogue is any different from the first prisoner. It is not. It's just copy pasted. In a surprise move, they copy pasted the conversation. I fully understand it, but it's still a copy pasted discussion. Oh shit, I'm dead. Oh, this is shit. That goblin got us good. Don't want to save. That could have gone a lot better. corpses. Hobgoblin Taskmaster, that's the big one. See if sleep even has a chance to affect him. Immune to mind affecting spells. Why are you immune? This is very worrying. I've seen this now on multiple different guys and I have no reason to see why it is there. Mind affecting immunity is a big thing you can get for yourself. It does not come cheaply. Except they seem to have gotten it for free for some reason.
Hey, shoot!
I think it's a rod of ghosts, so I could basically get a ghostly visage for use with this rod once per day. That would be a big deal because it's one of the better protection spells for a long time. And I can't have it because it's illusion, and I gave up illusion spells to get the enchantment, which everyone seems to be immune against. So I'm pleased about that, very pleased. Any armor class bonus goes primarily to the fighter. Right, that was the mandatory part. I think we're about halfway done with this. Ring of Insight, this lore, excellent. Orc Shaman. Kobold Healer, Orc Champion, Kobold. That's a tough one. Also, not to complain, but could you guys actually do something at some point? Yeah, this is bad. Now the two of us are here, separated from the others. No one's doing anything. Like literally no one did anything there. And there was enemies coming from two directions. More than half the team is stuck in some wall. And the fighter isn't gonna attack. Yeah, this is the life when you try to sort of rely on your companions instead of just ditching them like you should. Even the simplest things are a struggle at times. Right, I need to get all of you fuckers out of that room so you don't get stuck there again. Could you do something, please?
You may as well give up right now!
I want the summoned creatures to go in first.
You may.
Hey, could you do something, please?
blast you! Burn! Burn blast you! Burn!
Okay, not bad. I don't really care what they are doing as long as they fight something.
You may as well give up right now!
For justice!
You will not prevail!
Not bad. Decent fights. And we're definitely gonna get level up from completing this, so that's another positive thing. We're not gonna get access to level third level spells yet, but we are gonna get a little bit of cash out of this and more second level spells. Hope the ghostly wand is, or rod is probably the biggest thing here. Yeah, now I identified it. Ghostly visage, 1 use per day. I would like to use it right now, please. 5 points damage reduction from normal non-magic physical attacks and protection from first level spells, something along those lines. It is a big deal at this point. There it is. Standard Warhammer, but I'm taking it anyway because it might be enough gold to pay for some resting sessions. Stiletto. This halfling prisoner looks calm and composed, but the wear of being in his cell during the battle shows in his face.
Hi there.
A halfling prisoner stands whistling in his cell, seemingly oblivious to all that is going on around him. Then he looks up at you and gives you a roguish grin.
Have you come to poke a sharp stick in me then, or are you more of a curiosity seeker?
Who are you? My name is Stiletto, and you would be... I am Cal. I'd say I'm pleased to meet you, but since I don't know if you're here to rescue me or kill me, I'll reserve judgment. I was killing the enemy captives who escaped their cells. Ah well, enjoy your killing spree. If you get bored, I can offer you a little something to set me free. Who are you? My name's Stiletto, and you would be... okay, what are you doing here? I was exhausted by my regular job as a free person, so I thought I'd just pop into a prison cell and take a much-needed break. But seriously, why are you in prison? I was relatively new in town, and I saw this woman who looked like she needed a break from the heavy load in her purse. Naturally, the gentleman in me decided I should give her a hand. No sooner had I slipped my knife into her purse strings than I found myself on the ground with my arm trapped behind my back. What happened? It turns out that the fancy lady I was trying to rob was Enivid, the hand captain of the guards and head of the military. I just thought it was some showy armor. Apparently, she isn't terribly fond of thieves, and even far less fond of ones that try to steal from her. So here I sit, feeling terribly remorseful and full of self-loathing, wishing I could make amends. All my options are terrible. Do you like me to let you out? Well, that would be bloody decent of you. Just pop off that door open and I'll be on my way. I'm not particularly interested in it. I'm looking at this from the perspective of my character's benefit. How in the hell would I benefit from just freeing this prisoner? I'm trying to get the trust of the city and look good. So me going releasing prisoners on my own in exchange for some pittance is not a good idea. Hang in there. I'll be back just in a second. Pathetic loot. Single gold piece, a couple of arrows. That is god awful. They're using some kind of automated looting system. Loot tables probably. So there's a lot of trash, pointless trash. We're all about the casting, so we're going to go with 100% intelligence. Nothing more. Nothing extra. We do that well, and that's the only thing we do well. We should get maybe more appraisal. It's not like our appraisal skill check is bad, even. Still we fail at it. Tumbling is always useful. Two extra spells. Considering what we experienced here, what would have been useful? Almost nothing. I'm not gonna level up. Because I need to see the options, the local mage here sells. That will determine what spells we're gonna take. There's quite a few that are somewhat useful, but if I can just pay less than 100 gold to get the same thing, it doesn't make sense to waste my level up choices there. Dylan.
We heard some awful sounds coming from down there. We thought they were the sounds of your death. I'm glad you survived. Were you able to put an end to them?
Yeah, the half-goblin is dead.
He's dead? You were able to accomplish this deed against such great odds? This man is a hero. We were surely defeated. How could you have overcome the monsters? Perhaps Mama Dane was right. Perhaps you really were sent by the gods.
It's not impossible considering what happened at the start of the game. It would be odd if the Illithids would have sent me. But it wasn't exactly well, it's not impossible. But I still find that less likely than some other power faction working to help me. I think we're going to treat every conversation option with these people as election speeches.
I know nothing of these gods. I merely did my duty. Who can know the will of the gods? Certainly not men such as us. That must have been some fight, sir. I will have the masons come down and repair the cells right away. Should the enemy assault the gates again, we will doubtless take more prisoners and this time do a better job of holding them.
We did get 500 experience. We probably got some gold out of it too. Seem to have more than I thought I had. Right, I'm gonna hold my ass to the mage shop. See what she has for sale on the second level spells and then choose my spells. Why does the stray dog follow me? Where the hell is the wizard tower? I'm mostly interested in things like ultra vision spells. They don't currently have much use, but if we have to go against Drow, they're gonna be very useful.
What can I do to help you today? Is there some...
They have webs, sound bursts, amplify, bane, color spray. There isn't all that many second level spells, period. Or otherwise they're mixed in, totally out of sync. Acid, arrow, silence. There are a few. This is all high level stuff. So the ultravision spell might be a good idea to take at this point, because there's no guarantee we can take it later. Same with the other enchantment spell. Cloud of Bewilderment is another one I didn't see. Enemies in the area are stunned and blinded for 1d6 rounds. A good control spell, basically. Yeah, blindness, deafness, and ultravision. Well-being we can certainly buy, so can we melt acid arrow? Flame weapon will add a lot of damage later on, but I'm not sure if we want it now. Second level isn't all that great at attacking though. Third level when you get the area of effect attack spells. Good amount of hit points.
Very good. Things are coming along quite nicely. Soon you shall have regained all the power you once had. Now, how would you instruct me to grow in power?
What powers can I choose? That will depend on how powerful you have grown. The stronger you are, the stronger I can get. Certainly I can be enhanced in several ways. My ability to hit and do damage will only go up occasionally. I can have bonus type of damage added, I can do special effects when I hit something, and I can have few special abilities. We're not interested in any kind of offensive capability of the weapon itself. Not at all. Not in the slightest. My fear is that we have to use this weapon at some point to kill something. But I'm still not gonna upgrade the offensive capabilities at all if I can help it. Just choose the category of enchantment that you would like and then choose a specific effect. Okay. What powers can I choose? Okay, just damage bonus, something special when you hit. I want something special. Okay, special it is. Ability to heal light wounds. I want to cure poison. Ability to heal light wounds wouldn't be bad because we have no healing ability at the moment. Cure poison. Let's go with light wounds. I want the ability to heal light wounds. That does not sound very warlike. How am I to become a legendary power if you use me like a potion? Oh well, fine. Well, I hope you are happy. I, on the other hand, am not. I don't care. I don't want to hit people with the stick. It's not the wizardly thing to do. I have Cure Light Wounds, 1 use per day. Yay. I mean, it's better than nothing, so I'm not sure why I'm complaining about it. And there was much rejoicing.
Every time I see you, I find myself wondering if I am... What can I do to help you today?
Merchant's reaction is unfavorable. Excellent. We still need to get rid of some of this crap because it is taking a lot of space. Another bonus points for this adventure. Extra weapons were usable. You could have give them to the prisoners and they would have likely bought with us, or at least it was a dialogue option to use extra crap you usually don't have no use for. Also, why the hell would I sell anything to her? There were general shops in the city. I sort of want to visit at least one of them. We're currently in a position that no one in our group has anything that's particularly good, even for them. I want some sort of a general shop. Smithy would also do. Oh, actually the temple might not be alright, yeah. It would have ropes, very likely, but the biggest thing is I need a proper armor for the fire. If I can't even do that, then we have no hope. As long as Calibas is good to go, I think we can pretty much deal with a lot of our problems. The quartermaster and the smithy, maybe the market square too. If I find some kind of equipment for Calibas, I'll leave things at that.
This place turns my stomach. Let us not linger here.
Multiple named guys.
You must be the new one
Just
running.
show me your crap. Favorable. Excellent. First favorable reaction. Slightly better prices, but not exactly great. Greater archer spell. Great. Okay, standard damage reduction spells, belts and greater damage reduction belts, but only the archer version, which is a good one though. Right, this is a general shop, so I'm not expecting heavy armor here. Still want to see what exactly can we expect. Fairly basic equipment, nothing amazing, nothing too bad. If kobolds and goblins are our main opponent, pretty much any heavy armor.
I'm sorry, did you wish to speak to me, my friend?
What is it? What can Jaboli, do you think you shall return home? When my people banished me, I was told in no uncertain terms that to return would mean death. No, I do not foresee a time when I am eager to see others of my kind again. What exactly did you do to upset them so? It started innocently enough. I simply began to talk to other young, wealthy Rakshasa. I would feel out which ones might be sympathetic to my point of view and get them to attend meetings. We weren't doing anything wrong, but our ideas were subversive. One night we had about 30 Rakshasa and 100 slaves. Is that a lot? It is a lot for Rakshasa, but slaves are very numerous in our home. It was the inclusion of the slaves that began the slaughter, though. That was my first mistake.
A slave is a terrible warrior, but when you have nothing worth living for, you will do almost anything to be free.
Apparently the slaves had been spreading the word that there were Rakshasa willing to stand up and fight for them. They secretly prepared, and when we had our meeting that night... What? They never stood a chance. Hundreds of thousands of slaves were killed that night. A few hundred of my people were killed, but the rebellion was put to an end, brutally. That many slaves? Our skins have magical protection, so that only weapons of powerful magic can do any damage to us. The slaves had clubs and knives. What did your people do after that? The slaves were tortured until my people had their names of all Rakshasa who ever attended our meetings. They gathered us up and allowed us to give ourselves into the military, to help recover our lost slave population, or choose an honorable death. I was not so lucky. Every single one of my companions joined the military. I gave what I thought was a rousing speech, but even before I could finish, my words were hidden by the hissing of my old friends. So you were banished? Yes. They beat me, tortured me, stripped me of most of my power, and exiled me from my home. There's more honor in death than in exile. I awoke in this plane, and it took all of my willpower to stand up and begin my life again. We had best get moving. There are important things for us to do still. You're the one who interrupted me. Just wanted to go this smithy.
There's got to be some good taverns in this keep. We should find them all.
Favorable. Much better prices on the bolts of lightning. I get around 1,000 for most of them. This one offers 1,400. Might as well sell the gemstones here too. $1,500. That should be enough for basic good plate armor. 1,700. We are not going to be settling for anything less than that though. I need a little bit of extra cash. It's probably the best investment I can do at this stage. About 100 more. A glittering necklace will do. It's just has a light effect on it, nothing more. $200 gold extra. 27 armor class for a low level character, that's very good. For a very small investment we could get a tower shield. Normal shield is good enough usually, but he can use a tower shield. Greater belts. Doesn't sell the weaker belts, this one. Does the greater ones. Right, this provides a single point in base armor class. Power shield provides 3. Armor class 29. Not bad at all. 20 higher than I have. What about Miss Rakshasa? Armor class 12. Terrible, just god awful. Right. Still, that's the basics what we needed. No one seems to have basic clothing. Maybe the temple would have it. I certainly can't afford the magical mage's robes. Either way, Calibas can probably kill most of our opponents alone at this point. That's what we more or less wanted. I have enough funds to rest again, which we must, absolutely must do. And there's still a lot of places in the city we need to go to and talk to and try to get more quests. So it looks like at least we got to do something this time, but it looks like this is going to be a lot of talking for a long time in this game.